This is part 3 of heat germinating perennial seeds. I have my package of Palmer Penstemon here, and I know at least 6 have sprouted. They're really tiny. I am going to be putting them in sterilized cell packs. I talked about my soil in the last one. I actually sterilize my soil as well. I cook it. I make sure it gets to 160 degrees. If you haven't watched part 2, was it in part 1 or part 2? Maybe it was in part 1. Go back and watch part 1 where I talk about exactly how I do that. But for now, I'm just gonna pot up these seeds. And since I still don't have my tripod figured out, but my seeds are ready, I'm just gonna have to wing it. Okay, so here's one of these teeny tiny little sprouts. And I figured, especially because they are so tiny, it's better to pot them up sooner rather than later because they might get embedded in the paper towel over here. Okay, so I put one of these in here. I'm just using a little toothpick to get these up, and then I'm moving them into the soil and I'm barely covering it. Okay, so here's one right there. It has a nice big root on it. I'm just going to put it right in there and then just barely cover. And that's it. So I'm going to pot up the rest of these, and hopefully within the next week they will all be big enough to be visible over the soil. Okay, if you do have any that have managed to embed themselves in a paper towel, just take the whole paper towel and plant the whole thing rather than pulling on the root. So I'm going to put this whole thing in here. If you weren't watching one of the first videos, just to let you know, this was 12 seeds, and I just potted up 9 of them. That's how many had sprouted. And I heat treated these on December 8th. And today is December 16th. These sprouted yesterday, which means they sprouted exactly 7 days after heat treatment, which is remarkably fast for something like this. This is Palmer's Penstemon. And there it is.